Thank you, Freak. And a very decisive win at that. Another quick one. As both Zyrene and Freak stated, when Unicorns of Love have a lead, they are quick to close it out in comparison to Millenium, who seem to have extended games that they'll close more methodically.
Yeah, definitely. When they get that lead, they start going for the more aggressive picks. They start getting in the jungle, and they just start sieging. And Millennium's team comp is so bad against sieging. They have an assassin. They don't have the wave clear necessary to defend from a siege. So as soon as Unicorns of Love get that advantage and get on the siege, they just start getting into Millennium's base, and there's not much they can do.
I want to take a look at the picks and bans, because as we expected, the Poppy did come through as a ban, but that meant they had to replace it with something, right? So they ended up leaving up J4. And I had questioned, all right, leaving up the J4, can he use it to the extent where he can have some early pressure? And are they going to properly combo it with the Orianna to get some dives and again, early objective control? And it seemed to work. So now that they're moving back on, to they're switching sides yet again, the question is Millenium normally banning Syndra, Ori, and Jarvan. They ban that both in games 1 and 3. If they have to throw the Poppy ban back up, which one of those 3 do you get rid of?
I think they're probably going to get rid of the Ori ban and go Syndra, Poppy, Jarvan. I think you still have to ban that Poppy. It looks like Kevin's played Mundo all 4 games. It seems like that's his comfort pick, and that's what he really wants to be on, and he's not comfortable on much else. But I think it's really important that Millenium gets the early game lead, because Millennium's running these assassin comps where they have to get Kerp ahead. Their win condition is basically Kerp right now. It's like, Kerp, get ahead on this assassin and give us all the map pressure we need to make these plays to get the Dragons to be ahead. And that didn't happen game 4. That didn't happen game 3. And is it going to happen game 5? I think that's the big question.
100% I agree that they should replace the Ori, because the Jarvan is what allowed them that hard initiate under the turrets. It's what it gave them the option to dive, whereas Lee Sin is going to require a little bit more mechanics there if you really want to go and get the perfect pick off and the kick out back into the team. I want to jump into a replay here. We're going to go 11 minutes into the game, because we talked about how Millennium's win condition is their mid lane, and we wanted somebody to extend pressure to the mid lane. Interestingly enough, though, it's Thresh who does it in this game.
Finally, Thresh goes for the mid lane play, and so many Mad Lifes have been happening recently. This is like the second one this series. Saw one a couple days back, and he gets the ulti off. Thresh just walks up, beautiful flash hook right into the flash, and Kerp's dead, and they basically get the mid tower for that. It gets down to like 5%, and that's the kind of plays you need to be making on these melee mid assassins who are very, very vulnerable to getting ganked and are very hard to farm effectively when you don't have the vision to play up. And as soon as they got that mid pick, they went over. They actually didn't set up well for the Dragon, but Lucian got a nice steal on it, which even sealed Millennium's fate even more, because they lost the Dragon and they lost the mid turret, and then they just kept pressuring mid. They pressured bottom, and you could see Millenium couldn't do anything. Talon wasn't strong enough to split push. He wasn't strong enough to burst anyone, and their team fight just fell completely apart.
That's a lot of gold into Unicorn's hands at that point, too. And I want to point out that in the mid lane, we saw a very similar build to Kerp's Fizz in the first game, where having a massive gold lead, they went for the defensive item first, choosing to go for that Hourglass as a safe way to make sure that they could close out the game quickly and efficiently, but while still having a fair amount of AP to support their aggression.
Yeah, Hourglass is definitely like one of the biggest anti-throw capabilities for like a mid against any like assassin, especially like a Talon. And once he gets that Hourglass and he's ahead, he can just, you saw how far up he was playing in those sieges, and even if they went on him, he always had his Hourglass. He had a Maokai and a Thresh to peel for him as he played up his Orianna. So it was really hard, especially with the Hourglass, to die for him. Like he basically couldn't die unless he like walked into 5 of them under the tower. So their siege was just so strong and so hard to deal with.
You mentioned the Maokai. In the first couple games, I was a little underwhelmed by Vizicachi's Maokai play, but I have to say in this game, he played it much more fluidly. He used his engages properly. I felt like he mispositioned a few times in the earlier games with his Twisted Advance. This time, though, maybe it's just a factor of having that gold lead, that he felt confident in diving, but it was much better use of Engage that allowed them to, again, go under those turrets at 20 minutes into the game and just completely take fights.
Yeah, when you're that far ahead, all you need is Maokai. Maokai, please just root somebody, and then they just pop because they got a fed Ori, they got a fed Lucian, and Lucian seems like he's been a pretty big factor in these series too. They picked up the Lucian, they picked up the stronger lanes, and it seems like it's been working out very well for him as opposed to the Tristana pick.
Yeah, the importance of the early game really showing for Unicorns here. I do want to hop into the second replay because all of this early game pressure that we talk about and the lead that they're securing factors into what they're able to do 15 minutes into the game under a turret.
Yeah, this just leads into Unicorn of Love's win condition against Millennium-specific comp. Millennium's comp, again, has really poor wave clear, so they're really bad at dealing with the onslaught of the siege, and you just see the hooks go out, Jarvan just jumps in, pops Elise, and there's chaos everywhere, but to top it all off, Unicorn of Love is just way stronger than Millennium right now, and they can't do anything about that siege, so they just basically just run them over at this point.
There's another great hook here, too.
Yeah, this guy has just been landing so many great hooks on Thresh. I think he's had 2 Mad Lives this series already, and I've been really impressed by his Thresh play. Both
Freak and Zyrene have mentioned Hylissang's ability to play Thresh. He's been on it throughout the entire series, and it's fine. He's finally able to, like, in this win, it was really showcased his ability to make plays on that champion. But now, of course, we're at the all-important Game 5, where everything's up in the air. There's no question Unicorns have momentum in their favor. So let's look at Millennium, because they played the first 2 games very well. However, is it time for them to get away from that assassin-reliant composition, where if it doesn't work out, they have no other options? I feel like they have to give themselves more outs as it goes later into the game.
Yeah, the first time they had Poppy that kind of dealt with like what Millennium was running. This time they kind of had the Jarvan, and they just got those advantages. And the Game 5, the deciding game, they were Unicorns of Love were down 2-0, and they came back 2 games. And it's when you're at that 5th game and you're up 2-0 like that, it's so hard for any team to come back and be like, are we going to run Assassins again? What are we going to do? And what's worked for them twice is the Assassin, so they're probably going to go for that for the 5th deciding game. But they might try to shake it up. It's the 5th game. The number one thing you want to do is realize, okay, it's a best of 1 now. Like, clear your mind, realize that this is the all-important game. What happened in the last 4 games don't matter. The mistakes don't matter. Just focus on this one game. And, yeah, don't let the other games get you down. And it might be hard for Millennium after those 2 games.
And just to follow up on that, I feel like the period of time in which is going to be the most important, I mean, we've said it this whole time, is that first 10 minutes of the game. Because it's so important actually for both teams. For Unicorns, they need that lead in the first 10 minutes because it seems like if they don't have it, they will get beat out by decision-making and solid team fighting on the side of Millennium. However, if Millennium hands over that lead, right? If they don't play their kind of safe, steady, take objective, good vision control early game, then Unicorns will steamroll them once they have a couple thousand gold in their pockets.
Yeah, I definitely think the Lucian pick is going to be pretty big in this 5th game, whoever gets the Lucian. I think it's worked very well for whichever teams had Lucian because it's put so much pressure on the bot lane, and both AD carries seem to have done really well with Lucian, so I think that's going to be huge to determine who gets ahead in the early game, and the Dragon control is also going to be very important.
Well, picks, bans, early game, vision, dragon control, all of those things are going to be very interesting to keep an eye on in this next game because we do have a spot in the 2015 LCS that comes down to a single game. Unicorns of Love and Millennium throw everything they have at each other after the break. Don't go anywhere.
The curve.
But this is going to be an even bigger spike.
Shockwave.
Nice Shockwave. Curb has to... Oh, Hylissang!
Oh my god!
Oh my god, Hylissang! What else can you say?
Nice. Alice still on the side. Push.
They should back out. Yeah, okay.
Oh, wait, no. Go. Okay, I'm Nami. Nice! Talon! Where is he? Where is he?
Okay, them.
Nice!
One hit from Dead. Can they find him? Yes. Hylissang into the charge and get the kill.
Oh, he dodged the
cocoon. And J-Re is also screwed. He is still not tanky enough. He's going to get just bursted down, and there is the kill on Dr. Muto.
Oh, the hook again.
0-5-1. Kevin Kerp just gets out, but by the way, everyone else is dead.
Go Taylor! I'm on nice! Mundo's dead! Nice! Tristana! Nami! I got him! I'm coming! Coming for Nami! Nice! Oh, the gosh!